Okay. All right. So let me hide this real quick. There we go. All right. So I did some data analysis here, and basically what we've got here, this is how I collected my data with this Excel sheet. And to give a little bit of background, I played on an intermural team here at school, and these are just the members of our team here. And what I wanted to do was just collect some data on, you know, like typical stats, assists, 3-pointers made, field goals missed, all that stuff, blocks, rebounds, and then use that data and then kind of do some analysis on it. So this was kind of my starting point right here. And what I wanted to use that for was to inform a lineup, which that's this table here to give us the best shot at winning, essentially. So this was kind of the first iteration of the data, I guess, that I was collecting. And I just tested it out on a practice that we had as a team. There were a couple people that weren't there, so that's why I grade these out. And then I just did the rating here. This is based on the playing time or playing minutes. So you could see I have this formula here that kind of weights each of these categories, and then it divides it by the playing minutes to give you like kind of a rating per minute sort of deal. Anyways, so that was the first iteration. Then I kind of moved on to this here, which you can see I really added quite a bit to it. And then I added some, let's see, did I do it for this one? I think I added some functionality here to where it would update, yeah, it'll update the playing minutes depending on where you have these X's. So that was kind of cool. And then what I had was I had the first half is set before the game. And then the second half, it makes an update here to the lineup based on how everyone played in the first half was kind of the idea here. And that's based off of the rating. Anyway, so this is all like my data analysis. You can see here, we had a hard time tracking playing minutes because we ended up switching up some of the lineups during the game, depending on how players were feeling. But you can see we gathered some stats here on how everyone shot and everything like that. Did the second half, and then this one right here is the game total, and this is what I ended up using for my analysis was the totals. And then here's our second game that we played. So we played versus the Bears, and a team called Kyle and Friends. Yeah, and you can just see here's all the data. And then, well, here's the average rank. The ranking wasn't weighted by playtime, but it was still, you know, somewhat accurate, I guess, for contribution. So here's where everyone rated. And then I made the totals here into basically a format that could be exported as a CSV. So that's what these are. Anyway, so that's the data set. Now we can kind of move on to the code here and what we did. So I used Jupyter Lab for the data analysis. It was really helpful and really fun to work with actually. So you can do markdown kind of along with your code. It's very good for like visually, you know, being able to see like what's going on. All right, so here we just well, I could show you real quick. So here we have like our CSV files, right? So I went ahead and I pulled those in, and then we're just printing them as a data frame. I ended up dropping the last row with totals because for most of the data analysis, I mean, I could have left it in for some of these graphs, but I didn't feel like it was relevant for most stuff. I did use it for one thing that I'll get to later, but yeah, so here's our data frames, and you can see, yeah, Jupyter Lab helps with printing these out, making them look pretty. So the first thing I kind of looked at was free throws. And this is just a function I wrote. I put a lot of comments in here because I kind of use this to learn like how to do my data analysis. I get like how to work with some of these libraries. By the way, yeah, we're just using Pandas, Matplotlib, and then NumPy, and we're just using the pyplot from that. Anyways, so game one, this is kind of our free throws. You can see here I put a little legend here. Red is the free throws missed, and green is free throws made. And this was, I mean, this is the one I learned on, so I kind of went through a couple iterations of this, but this is what I ended up with in the end. So yeah, you can see here that, well, Connor missed quite a few free throws, but he was definitely the most fouled by far of anyone on our team. Tyler made 1 out of 2. Alvaro didn't make any of his. And then we kind of move on to game 2. Didn't get fouled a whole lot in game 2. But we did, well, when we were fouled, we missed all of our free throws. So not too great. To be honest, we ended up losing both games. In the first game, we actually really struggled as a team. Well, to play kind of cohesively. I guess I don't cover that as much in the data analysis here. I'm just covering scoring for this project, but maybe I'll get to that in the future. But yeah, we didn't do too great, and I mean this can kind of show like just missing free throws is there's probably there's a correlation there to I think losing games, because I mean we left, you could see here, well, 3 points here, 2 points here, 1 point here, so that's 6 points in the first game we left on the board, or well, we didn't make. And then here you've got 5. So yeah, I mean if another team can foul you and you're not going to make any of your free throws, then yeah, it can really be a problem. Anyways, so that was the free throws. With the field goals, I broke it down a little bit more. We've got a function here for doing the charts, and then a function here for getting our percentages. Actually, I did the percentages for each individual on the team. And then here's the total team percentage. So I did a little bit more on these. Oh, and you can see in the chart here. So I did blue is the 2-pointers made, green is 3-pointers, and then red is missed. And so this was our game 1. Lot more red on there than we would have liked, but yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. And so based off of this, we could see like Walt was our best 3-point shooter. Alvaro was our best 3-point shooter. I mean, you could kind of glean some stuff from this. Connor didn't make any of his shots, so I mean, you could take that and be like, okay, well, let's not play Connor as much because he's missing all of his shots. But other things factor in. That's why I had that formula there to weight other things like rebounds and assists and stuff like that. So But if you're solely basing it off of scoring, you would probably want to line up kind of like this based on percentages here. So you'd have Alvaro as your one of your starters, and then Nick would be like, those would be your top two, which those guys were kind of our big guys. So they also gathered a lot of rebounds. But anyways, and then me, Tyler, and then you kind of go down from there. And then Ben, he didn't actually shoot at all, so that's why it says NAN. And then here's game 2. Oh, and you can see, I forgot to mention this. We had a 32%, rate of making our field goals. So not too great. Made a third of our shots. Here's game 2. We did. You can see here, Tyler definitely shot more and made a lot more, and Walt made a ton of threes, and he made 50% of her shots. So you could see Tyler and Walt had really good improvement. Connor had some improvement here. Looks like he shot, let's see, he shot a little bit less, but he was able to make half of his shots. Alvaro, pretty consistent actually. Did he make? Yeah, he shot 9 in this one. I mean, Alvaro was probably the most consistent player. It looks like I only shot once and I didn't make any. Ethan shot the same number of times as last time. Nick missed quite a few here compared to his first game. But yeah, you could see some how you could see some like useful information. And look at these, compare these graphs to see who is improving, who's consistent, and who's kind of going backwards. And then here's the new percentages. So I mean, again, you could use this for like a starting lineup or something like that. So Connor went up to 50%. The crazy thing was, yeah, Walt, he was at 50% as well, but all of his were 3-pointers, so that's pretty huge. And you can see our overall team percentage went up to about 39%, which is pretty good compared to our first game. That's a 7% improvement. So, I mean, if you keep trending like that, I mean, it would have been pretty good. So it's a pretty small sample size, only 2 games, but I was just trying to get introduced to the topic and kind of understand how data analysis works. And yeah, it was a fun little project to do. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you got any questions, post them in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and yeah, thanks.